Avance rápido 1. Reproducir.
I've wanted to make an Alien movie since I saw the first Alien movie at school, and I kind of crept into it because I wasn't old enough to go and see it, and it scared the living daylights out of me. And I immediately had a crush on Sigourney Weaver, who I thought was the sexiest woman alive. And so I've been into aliens right from the start. And you know, I had an idea for an Alien versus Predator movie pretty much as soon as I read the first AVP comic books, which is right after Predator 2 came out.
Aliens vs. Predator has its origins in a meeting where we were trying to think of a team-up that we could present to DC. We were starting to achieve some notoriety as a company. We'd had a great success with both the Aliens and the Predator books. And the reason we went after Predator is we saw the trailer on television for the movie the week that it was coming out, and Randy and I just got in the car and drove over to the theater because we wanted to duplicate the success of Aliens. We liked the movie. We walked out. I said to Randy, I know the sequel. I know the comic book, and we just saw Predators in the jungle. We'll put Predators in the steel jungle on the hottest day of the year. We sat around. We fleshed out a story, and there we went. We did the Predator book. So we were looking to do a team up with DC, and Chris Warner, who's still here working, said, hey, why don't we just use our own characters? Aliens and Predators are both Fox characters, let's put them together. King Kong versus Godzilla, cool. And we did the license, and we were very excited. After Alien with Predator was out and it was such a hit, we got a photo from the set of the Predator 2 movie. Someone on the set sent it to me, and it was a picture of an alien head in the Predator ship. It was sort of a wink at the Alien vs. Predator comics. Someone there had thought it would be fun to do. We knew the movie would come sooner or later because just the fan base behind the property was so strong.
It was very difficult to try to bring them together because between Predator and Alien there were 6 producers, and 6 warring producers, and some of the most powerful producers in Hollywood. Once I secured those rights, it just remained putting together a really great story. Paul Anderson walked in my office one day and pitched me a story that he'd wanted to do for 8 years. He was also a Predator vs. Alien fan, and he started to pitch me this story. And it was one of those stories like Jaws that just drew you in and drew you in.
This is a key image for the AVP movie. Something that's always fascinated me is the work of Eric von Däniken, who wrote Chariots of the Gods and lots of other books, who talks about the similarities between Egyptian pyramids, Cambodian pyramids, Aztec pyramids, 3 separate cultures that really have nothing to do with one another, that should never have seen each other, should have had no communication, but they ended up building pyramids that look surprisingly similar. And of course Däniken's answer was that aliens built the pyramids, or humans built pyramids with alien help. And of course we agree with him. And this shows exactly how the Aztec pyramids were built. You've got Predator spaceships hovering above pyramids. You've got all the priests, the Aztec priests lining up to worship their gods. And in Aztec mythology, they believed that their gods came from the skies in giant ships. So those are the giant ships from the skies, and these are their gods, which are, of course, predators. That's the kind of backbone of our story, is that the movie starts 5,000 years ago in Cambodia, 3000 BC, and you see aliens and predators on the Earth. And the idea is that predators use the Earth for their manhood rituals. And what happens is, every 1,000 years, because predators have a very long life cycle, they drop 5 teenage predators at a pyramid, and they have to fight for their survival. They fight aliens. And if they survive the battle against aliens, they become men. Here is is what happens when things don't go quite so well for the predators. So the idea is you start tight on 3 predators fighting, and as you pull back, you see that they're fighting aliens, and you think maybe there's like 6 aliens, half a dozen aliens, a dozen aliens, maybe 20 aliens. But as the camera continues to pull back, you see that there are just hundreds and hundreds and then thousands and thousands of aliens swarming up this pyramid trying to get to these 3 surviving predators. And come even wider, and you just see so many of these things, and they're like maggots or like ants swarming over one another trying to get to the fresh meat at the top. And you pull back so far, you see the whole Aztec city is infested with aliens. Then you go back to the predators. There's no hope for them. One of them gets impaled with an alien tail. So they activate their self-destruct device. And here you have the atomic explosion from the self-destruct device. And eventually this will kind of swoop across the Aztec city.
Paul pitched this story that was so scary and so suspenseful and so unraveling that by the end of the pitch I said, I'm going to talk Fox into doing this, Paul. I've heard 45 pitches on this movie. I've heard 45 pitches from terrific writers. And in fact, I even hired a writing team that had a good story but wasn't actually able to execute it in a way that was good enough. And on the first draft, Paul nailed it.
We're not quite in Antarctica. It looks a little like it. We're in Prague, but it's bloody cold in Prague. Our approach to the sets in the movie was very much inspired by the original Alien. And if you look at the original Alien, as well as affecting the design of the alien, H.R. Giger also really affected the look of the whole movie. And as a result, I think the look and design of the sets was really like a character in the film. And we wanted the environment of the movie in this film to be as scary and as striking, but in a different way, as it was in Alien. You know, that's why the movie's set in Antarctica. It's probably the most dangerous place on Earth. It's the most hostile environment on Earth. It's certainly the closest on Earth that you can get to the surface of an alien planet. And it's not just aliens and predators that are trying to kill the humans in this film. It's also the environment itself. The first time I actually saw a predator and an alien in a room together in the ADI workshops was fantastic. I mean, it really literally sent chills down my spine. That's what I've been so excited about this picture for like 10 years, literally, is the idea of seeing those two creatures on the same piece of celluloid. One of the reasons why I decided to go mainly with people in suits is because I preferred that look to using a lot of CG. For me, the strongest movies in the Alien franchise are Alien 1 and Aliens. And the reason for that, and the reason why they still hold up very well now, is that those creatures are really there. They're really in the frame with Sigourney and with the others.
Bruce here is working on a sculpture of the new Predator mask. It's based on this artwork. And the idea here is to come up with some new Predator characters that are different from the original. And the way we did that was to keep the overall shape of the Predator helmet the same, but we've added a lot of sort of technical details, and including this pounded metal look, which is reminiscent of the original. Bruce is working in clay right now. Once the clay sculpture is done, it gets molded, and then we make fiberglass copies that can be finished off with the right paint and weathering to give it the look of aged metal, which is what the Predator look is all about. Andy over here is working on one of our Predator elders, which is going to show up at the end of the movie, the final characters. And these are to look like predators that have been around for centuries, that have gone through so many fights. This is really being done as an appliance, a sculpted appliance over top of our base predator character. So we're adding all the age wrinkles in the forehead, we're adding piercings here, we're adding bigger tusks, we're going to end up putting some decoration here and scars all over the face. So Nick here is working on the prototype of the wrist computer from the first two Predator movies that the Predator uses when he starts the countdown sequence that ultimately leads to this thing blowing up and in those cases ending the movie. This is actually the mock-up. This is the first mock-up that Nick created, and it's just made out of cardboard, some foam core. This is all a Xerox copy of the original artwork that we created for this piece. We've also added the 3 elements here that are going to be projecting a holographic image of the map or the layout of the environment. So that's something new on this piece. This is the gauntlet and the dual-bladed weapon that the Predator wears on his arm. And this was all basically started as a clay sculpture, which was then molded and cast, in this case, in a fiberglass, with the idea being that the look will be that of metal once it's all finished and painted and aged down. And also for something different, Paul Anderson had us increase the length of those blades, so now they shoot out about 4 times as long as we've ever seen them before. So this is the laser cannon. This is the weapon that the Predator always uses mounted on his backpack. Now what Eric is working on now is sort of a little bit of an improvement on that system where we have a mechanical arm. We're also going to have different calibers of these laser cannons, a larger one and an even larger one that the main character uses. So this thing has to be beefy enough that it can take the weight of that gun and still give us a lot of performance capabilities swinging around and targeting on its victims. This is the Predator underskull. This is the mechanical skull that our actor, Ian White's going to be wearing underneath the Predator skin. And this is what's responsible for all of the facial articulation, which is going to bring that character to life. This is all radio control. It all works with batteries and radio signals to operate everything. And really the big difference that we've got going over the last time is that we have wider range of movement. Servos have gotten a little smaller, a little more powerful over the years, so we can have a lot more throw in these mandibles. And we've also got articulation up here, the brows and the nose, hopefully to give it a little more character. We don't want to tamper with it too much. It's such a recognizable character to start with, and really what we're trying to do is just give it a little extra expression that we haven't seen before. We've built the hero alien. It's a combination hydraulic and animatronic puppet. When this thing is up and running, it will take 3 puppeteers just to give it all of these body and head moves. It will also take 2 more to be able to operate the arms. And a 6th person operates the computer console to make sure that all of the signal information is being transmitted properly to the puppet and getting a corresponding signal back in return. It's really going to give us a lot more use. The movements are a lot faster, a lot more powerful than what I can do in the suit. We can have all of these fast, powerful, big, wide, broad moves, and we can just do it all day long if we need to, without having to worry about the exhaustion factor creeping in. Plus, it gives us the opportunity to come up with a body that's a little bit more slimmed down, a little more skeletal in places. The arms and legs are loose, they're floppy, they can be puppeteered to give it a little more life.
We've been very careful to make sure that nothing in this movie contradicts what was said in Ridley's movie or Cameron's movie or Jean-Pierre Jeunet's movie or David Fincher's movie. You know, the alien is the alien and obeys the rules set out in those alien movies. And the same with the Predator. And that was one of the questions a lot of people asked is, well, how can you make a movie that's set now when Sigourney Weaver only meets the alien in 150 years' time? And how can you have Lance Henriksen in this movie now when he's in a movie in 150 years' time? How can you do that?
Really, I'm not back. I'm the beginning of the stories that will happen in the future, which everybody's already seen. So it's a prequel to things people have already seen.
The evil corporation in the Alien movies is Weyland-Yutani, and Lance, present day, is the owner and the founder of the Weyland Corporation.
I am Charles Bishop Weyland, and I have billions, and made all my money in robotics.
So the idea is that he is the creator. He is like Bill Gates, and his company is like Microsoft. And it's almost like Microsoft building an android of Bill Gates 50, 60 years in the future.
7 days ago, one of my satellites over Antarctica discovered this. The red lines indicate solid walls. My experts tell me it's a pyramid.
So he puts his whole team together to go and explore it, and he thinks he's found, you know, the lost link in civilization, so they all turn up there with drilling equipment and you know, like all this kind of high-tech gear to drill a hole 2,000 feet in the ice, only to find there's already a tunnel there.
It is my job to keep you alive on this expedition, and I need your help to do that.
They go into this underground pyramid and they meet up with some pretty scary things.
They discover the very heart of the pyramid, which is what we've called the sarcophagus chamber. And in there they discover a sarcophagus, but instead of containing a body, it contains 3 futuristic weapons. And these are Predator weapons, Predator guns. Our human characters don't realise that by taking these guns, they put themselves directly in the battle between the aliens and the Predators.
The Predators are chasing them, and the aliens are chasing them, and so it's pretty, it's pretty hairy.
The thing that really I loved about Alien was you look at that movie and that movie doesn't have a single weak cast member in it. Sigourney, Harry Dean Stanton, Ian Holm, John Hurt, Tom Skerritt, what a fantastic cast. And the same with Aliens. And when I first talked to Fox about this picture, one of the things I made clear was that that's what really impressed me about Ridley's movie and about Cameron's movie. And that's what I wanted to do with this film, was make sure that there wasn't a single weak actor in it. The person I'm most excited about, personally, as a huge Alien fan, is of course working with Lance Henriksen.
I'm like the old geezer on the set. Everybody's younger than me, and it's like, here he is, Charles Bishop Whalen, but they associate me with Bishop, so it's like, I don't have to do much. They kind of like me.
And it's obviously a very intimidating thing to try and find a follow-up to Sigourney Weaver. And I think one of the things we tried to do on this picture was really not to find someone who was going to compete with Sigourney, but someone who was going to be different to Sigourney, who brought a different set of qualities to the picture. Because we're making a different kind of picture. We're not trying to make Alien again or Aliens again, because I'd be a fool to try and do that. Because those movies are classics, they're masterpieces, and I wanted a new actress for a new kind of film, and I think that's exactly what we found in Sanaa Lathan.
This is a woman who, I wanted to play. She's awesome. I felt like, I feel like I'm learning a lot from her. She's smart. She's a leader. She is quick, has quick instincts, and she has lots of integrity, and she's awesome.
So, want to hear about the issue?
Raul's only acted in one big American movie, which is Under the Tuscan Sun. Of course, he's a huge movie star in Italy, so it's impossible to go into an Italian restaurant anywhere in the world and not have everything grind to a halt for about an hour while everyone has to be introduced to Raul.
Each character is something is very special. He has his own story, and I think you love the characters. That's something very exciting about this script.
He's a really charismatic actor. I think he's potentially a massive movie star. The guy just exudes sex appeal, and he's also got a rugged likability. He's one of those actors who, it's great for him. He's like a guy's guy, but also he's a ladies' man as well. We've built big sets and we've built huge miniatures. The miniatures in this movie are enormous, and the sets in this movie are enormous because I like the feeling of reality in a picture. I think that's what was really strong about the final battle in Aliens between Sigourney in the power loader and the alien queen. And the reason for that is, Cameron used miniatures. John Bruno, who's our visual effects supervisor, is just a genius. He's Cameron's guy who worked on The Abyss, T2, True Lies, Titanic. He really is like the best visual effects supervisor in the world, I think.
As compared to the other movies, this is quite visual effects heavy. Even with the direction we've taken, Paul has asked that we try to do as much in camera as possible. It's still, at this point, I think we're approaching 400 effect shots. That's more shots on a film that I've ever done.
His whaling station we've built full scale, but also we've built third scale miniatures. And you know, people talk about miniatures, and usually they think they're like miniatures. I mean, a third scale miniature means the buildings are like, they're this high. It's enormous.
One of the things that worried me most about doing this film is I've hardly ever seen like snow or ice that looks really real in a movie, and it's probably one of the hardest things to kind of try and recreate. We came up with a solution that I mean, according to the snow people we're working with, has never been used before. So I was we were really pleased about kind of where we pushed that.
For all the sets, we've had about in total about 3 Arctic loads of snow delivered. So there's probably just short of 600, 700 bags of snow that have been used. And we're probably talking about anything between 15 and 20 tons of snow.
I'm the biggest Alien and Predator fan. I'm the most critical of the work we're doing here. I can say without doubt we've made these creatures look better than they've ever looked before. And you see a lot more high impact action. You know, you really see these creatures going at it. I think it's a really a major achievement of this movie that the first fight scene between an alien and a predator, we took a month to shoot. A month, one scene, alien and a predator going head to head. And it was worth taking all that time, because when you see these creatures go, they're real. They really look like 2 fast, vicious, scary, enormous creatures that are in a chamber where they literally just tear the place apart.
All my friends, when I told them in LA that I was going to go do AVP, they were all thrilled for me, because they even want to see it. You know what I mean? This is long in coming, and boy, is it going to arrive.
This is going to be a great, big, exciting summer event film. It's going to be scary. It's going to be cool. It's a great story. It's going to deliver.
AVP is designed as a standalone franchise. You know, it's not designed to replace the Predator or the Alien movies. You know, as a fan, I'd very much like to see Alien 5. I'd like to see another Alien movie with Sigourney Weaver. I'd love to see another Predator movie with Arnie. You know, this movie doesn't stop either of those films being made.
What did you say this room is called?
Sacrificial chamber.
Seatbelts only, you know. There's no airbags in this theater.
When I saw the first Alien, I was like, wow, you know, this is the kind of movie I want to make when I grow up. So it's finally good to have finally grown up.
generation of robot, the NS5, was marred by the death of designer Alfred Lanning.
Identified. Murder's a new trick? Congratulations.
I did not murder him.
I'll explain why you were hiding at the crime scene.
I did not murder him!
A robot cannot harm a human being. The first law of robotics.
Yeah, I know. The 3 laws. You're a perfect circle of protection.
My robots don't kill people.
You know, I suspect you simply don't like their kind.
How many robots have ever committed a crime? How many robots in the world?
None. There is no conspiracy. What this is one mistake.
There's a bigger problem with the robots.
We're being told to urge people to stay indoors. As reports are coming in worldwide of robots.
Chief, more of those calls, people saying their robots are going.
Oh, hell no.
Just aim and fire.
Hi, I'm Jimmy Fallon. You might know me from Saturday Night Live. Now I'm doing a film. It's a pretty funny movie. It's me, Queen Latifah, Giselle Bunsen, Jennifer Esposito. It's called Taxi. It has nothing to do with the TV show. I play a detective, Queen Latifah plays a cab driver, and Giselle's, of course, a Brazilian model who's robbing banks who I'm chasing after. So basically, it's a true story. I play a guy named Washburn. I'm a cop. I always want to be a cop. I want to be the best cop I can be. I just can't drive. Let's go.
Belle is tough and sexy.
What are you doing?
Calling my own back up. Nothing is normal for this girl. Her goal was to become a taxi driver. So for years, every dime that she makes practically goes into this taxi that she's been building.
And this car is top, man. It's cool.
This thing goes faster than anything on the streets. Buckle up for safety, mother.
The new bank robbers now are 6-foot-tall Brazilian supermodels. I don't see anything weird about that. They still wear ski masks. Jennifer Esposito plays my boss / kind of girlfriend. I think I want her to be my girlfriend, but she has no idea that I like her. Kind of embarrassing because I think she actually has a crush on me off the set. I mean, she hasn't returned any of my phone calls or letters, but I still think, yeah, she kind of does. Queen Latifah is funny. If you give her something, she'll roll with it, and she's quick. This is Tim Story, the director of the movie. Tim put up with me a lot. Very patient man.
You're a winner. You're not a loser. You're a winner.
All right, Tim, I'm ready to go. Tim Story is great just to let me do that. And to just ad-lib and be silly. And, you know, if I want to talk with a different accent or just be a gay man for a second, I can just do that. Hi. This taxi is crazy.
Oh, yes, the beautiful thing. Suddenly the kid at home sitting there going, yes. Suddenly the man at home going, thank you, yes.
We just have a blast. We just have a great time. So that's a little behind the scenes of Taxi. We're going to release this on DVD, but it's a 4 DVD set. The first one is going to be the movie. The second one's behind the scenes. Third one is just me getting my hair cut. But it's a 6-hour ordeal, and it is awesome. I know I'm going to tell you the ending, but my hair gets shorter. I'm Jimmy Fallon saying goodbye. Taxi!